who's actually watching this. Welcome to the Tuesday stream on Moral Gaming. I am Smart Pig. Just Pig for short, I guess, because I'm not that smart. We're playing Stationeers on the moon. We're continuing with the base from last week. Let's make sure that my mic is picking up. Yep, okay. We're continuing on from last week. And sorry, I might be a little bit low energy tonight. It's been a long day. But that's this one here. Now, I believe we left off last week. We were in the midst of building our advanced furnace. And we came in here for something. Water, I believe. Yeah. Get that out of the way. So we've got potatoes going. We don't quite yet have the atmosphere that I want in here, because I want to be able to replenish the carbon dioxide in here before I start planting more than what we've got. What? There we go. That's the direction we're going. So, right now, we produce enough carbon dioxide with just our body to keep them potatoes alive. But if we were to plant more in here, we wouldn't have enough to keep anything else alive. We'd quickly run out of carbon dioxide. Unless we got our hands on some mushrooms. But that would be a different thing. It is quite loud in here. It's loud on my end, not y'all's. Alright, so we're gonna go outside. Suspect that we need some of them pipes. That's regular pipes. Let's pop on out and see where we stopped with the furnace. And where are you? There you are. Now I can see chat, if there's chat there. Alright, so we got our fuel mixing set up, it looks like. We got up to this point, to here. So we've got everything wired up. I think we were in the midst of labeling everything that needed to be labeled. Temperature dial. Temperature switch. So in case I didn't explain it last time, we use this dial to select what temperature we want. We use this switch to lock in that temperature. So, switch is on, furnace is trying to get to the temperature we want. Switch is off, furnace is, or hot tank, rather, is not trying to get to the temperature we want. And we are missing a vital component, I believe. I believe we're missing the pipe igniter. That's been labeled. That's been labeled. That's been labeled. That's been labeled. We don't need... Yeah, this doesn't need to be labeled because it's the only mixer we got. This is for the furnace's control. This is for making sure our fuel is mixing properly. Mixing when we need to mix, and not mixing when we don't need it to mix. So we need an igniter. And I believe that's in here. Pipe igniter needs iron and electrum. Iron we have here. And then electrum we have there. As I said before, I'm quite tired, so y'all might be hearing a little bit of the mixed southern accent coming out. That. Alright. Close you. Open the door, please. Thank you. Pop this guy right. Will it not let... It's okay. Not a biggie. All right. So I don't think we actually need any more pipes for right now until we start working on that cooling setup. Okay. So we've got everything set up. So we need... We're going to start with our fuel mixing. Import, edit. So we need alias gas mixer D0, alias fuel tank D1. And I think that's all we really need. Start yield. So I always put a yield in because it just saves on computer resources. So load into R0 from the fuel tank. And I don't know how I want to do this. Oops, not F2, F1. Insulated tank small. What do we have? Pressure, temperature, setting, ratios, total moles. Total moles there. Volume. I don't know what I want to do. We're going to go off of pressure. We'll just go off of pressure. Pressure. Now, we want it to fill when it's below a certain point and stop when it's above a certain point. So some kind of, it's a logic, not a logic. What's it called? There's a name for it. There's some kind of, a Schwartz switch, I think it's called. I can never remember. Basically the same kind of switch that your thermostats on the wall use to bring the temperature on, bring it off. So I want to keep roughly 5 megapascals of fuel in that insulated tank at all times. So, roughly. So if less than, if R0 is less than, let's go with 5,500 megapascals. So 5,500 kilopascals, because it measures the pressure in kilopascals, not pascals. So 5,000 kilopascals is a megapascal.
Power critical.
Uh-oh. It's like our battery's low on a lot of things. So I got that. No, you're low. You're low too. All right, let's go ahead and get our light squared away. I really don't want to be using my helmet light. It's not that great. Open. Thank you. All right, we're going to move you. We're going to swap you. And then we're going to swap you. Turn off the light. There we go. Back to what we were doing. This is Stationeers, boss. It's a engineering sim. You basically build bases on planetoids and planets. You can build one on Mars, the Moon, Europa, Venus, etc. But you got to take a lot of different variables into account because you're not just building the base, you're also building all the systems that keep the base livable. So right now I'm building a furnace of some kind. It's called an advanced furnace, and we need to mix fuel. So right now I'm working on mixing the fuel, setting up the automation for that. So 5.5 megapascals, and if it's less than, we want to branch to tank fill. Oh no, hang on. Fuel mix on. Branch greater than. If it's greater, what am I doing? Less than 4,500 kilopascals. It's greater than. R0 is. We want this to. How do you grow food and stuff? Oh well, you. Yeah, let me show you. Yeah, you'd have to actually code. I mean, you don't have to. You can use little chips and everything. It's just, for me, it's easier to code than it is to build an entire circuit block with different logic chips. So you actually grow food with the atmosphere. Because you're on the base, you fill the base with atmosphere, and all the machinery you need to keep that atmosphere actually intact and working. And also the machinery to keep it the right temperature. And if you're close enough to the sun, like on the moon, you just build windows for the natural sunlight to come through. Otherwise, you have a device called a grow light you can set up, which takes power. Where is my grow light? It should be over here somewhere. Where did I put you? Oh, grow light. Oh, grow light. Well, it's over here somewhere. It's basically a UV light that keeps the plants going. Well, right now it is nighttime. I don't have any lights on in the base. Well, hang on. Now I got a light. But yeah, it is nighttime right now. So we're on the moon. There's Earth. And the sun, judging by that, is on that side there. So when it comes up, you can see a lot better. So let's see. Branch greater than R0 if it's over. Branch greater than with the return address there is R0 5,500. So if it gets up to 5,500, fuel mix off, J start, and then fuel mix on, set gas mixer on. Oop, hang on. Got to put in a register, so move R1 to 1. Set to R1. Jump to return address, which would be here. This line here. Oh, you're on Earth Moon? Yeah. Yeah, actually, you can actually build rockets and stuff on this in this game too. It's pretty complicated when you really think about it. I'm surprised I actually understand as much as I do about it. Move R0 to 0. Set gas mixer on R. Whoops, nope, R1. I want to use R1 for that. R1, J, RA, and just in case I wrote that wrong, we're going to go to J start. All right, so what it'll do is as the program goes, it's going to check the pressure in the fuel tank. If it's less than 4,500 kilopascals, it'll jump to here, and then it'll turn the gas mixer on. And then once it's done, it'll jump back. And then it'll check this line, and then it'll go to this line, and then start over. And then once that'll keep that fuel mixer on the entire time until it gets above the 5,500 kilopascals, and then it'll jump to the fuel mix off, which will turn it off and then jump back up. It is not a casual game. It is not. It is a very complicated. Export U. Power on just so we set our pins. So D0 is our gas mixer. We've got to find that. Gas mixer. D0 is fuel tank. We're going to find that. Fuel tank. And then that should be good to go. So this is oxygen. Yes. That is U. So this is our primary. So we want to set our input 1 to roughly 34%. That actually would not be a horrible idea because there's a lot of physics in this game. Like later on when we get to the point where we're building rockets and whatnot, that'll be fun. So we've got our fuel set to mix. This is oxygen. This is volatiles, which is a stand-in for hydrogen. When it's mixing, this fuel mixer will mix them exactly that ratio. 1 part oxygen to 2 parts volatiles. Now, it needs to be the same temperature. So we've got a heat exchanger to equalize the temperature between the 2 tanks. Otherwise, the mix will be really screwed up. Now, I prefer to have the mix be a little bit oxygen rich. Because if we're fuel rich, if we're hydrogen rich, then that gets mixed in to these gases over here. What I'm going to end up probably doing is setting up another filtration unit over here. And then send it back over here. But that's for a later date. We're going to focus on this for now. We're going to start programming the furnace now. But the question is, do we have network analyzer? I want to see, did I put previous device configuration? Pressure, 111. So I've got some oxygen and I got some volatiles in there. It would be neat, but I don't think they have that. They've got... Okay, so biofuel is a thing. So you can set up for biologicals. Apparently I'm hungry and thirsty already. So you can set up a composter for your excess biological materials that will turn it into fertilizer and volatile gas. So the volatiles. And you can harvest those volatiles to feed your gas mixer. It's something I'm planning on playing with a little bit if we get to that point. Because, like, otherwise, you've got to rely on your own hands to go mine it. And that's tedious. to just do a quick test fire here. You turned on. Perfect. Turn you off. Import. Edit. So this is going to be the fun one. So we want furnace, temperature dial, temperature confirm switch. That's 3. Our gas fill. And our cold pump. That's 4 and 5. And I'm also going to put the igniter on there. Well, yeah, I'm also going to put the igniter on there. That's 6. Because we want most of our combustion to take place in the hot tank. We don't want it taking place on the inside here, because if combustion's going on in here, that's going to throw off our pressure. Because as combustion takes place, pressure increases. So, where did my laptop go? My dumbass. Where did it go? There it is. I'm gonna have to color this thing. Edit. So, first pin. A.Furnace D0 alias. Second pin. Temp dial D1 alias. Third pin. Temp switch D2 alias. Fuel pump. Is that what I got it labeled as? Gas pump. Let's just call it gas pump. Whatever. Gas pump D3 alias cold pump D4 alias igniter D5. All right, so start yield. And we're going to load into R0 from the temp dial. Temp dial setting. And our temperature dial has only got 999. Oh. Confirm. Oh, that's really appreciated, Dutch. I think he got worms on Twitter. That's most likely. He's got the most followers. War Master. Let's see. Drink and eat, because our health is decreasing. Drink first. The last potato. These are ready to harvest anyways. That's good. That's fine. We'll do that in a minute. There we go. Back out we go. Hale and I actually play a lot of Space Marine 2. We don't stream it though. Alright. We're gonna turn you off. Because it's bright out. Now I have the sun turned off because it was causing some issues with glare and whatnot. But we're going to just pause time because this takes a little bit. Now, as I was saying, the temperature dial can only go up to 999. But we're dealing with degrees in the thousands of Kelvin. So we're actually going to just multiply into R0. R0 times 100. So for every tick on that dial, it's 100 Kelvin. So something needs to be 1300 Kelvin for it to smelt properly. We got to set that dial to 13. So we're going to give ourselves some dedicated registers. Alias R15, because there's 16 registers starting with R0. Temp select. Sorry. Temp select R15. Multiply into temp select R15. So we'll multiply the dial temperature setting into temp select. So that's what we want it to be. Load from... Oh, hell. I can't put the igniter on here. I need the hot tank. Load into R0 from hot tank temperature. Load R1 set greater than SAP. Sorry. So we're trying to keep... Yeah. All right, so we don't want the device to be exactly precise. We just want it to be within a few percent. So we use the SAP command on R0. If our R0 is close to our selected temperature, and that's within 5%. If it's within 5% of that selected temperature and we can play with that number, we're happy. So R0 will turn to 1. So load into R1 from temp switch setting. So if it's a 0, we've got a 1 and a 0. If it's a 1, we got a 1 and a 1, and we're going to AND to R0, R0, and R1. So we want both of these to be 1s in order for it to start actually turning the temperature up. Now I'm just going to go ahead and double check that function. Yep, wrong one. X. And. Oh, wrong one again. This guy. And. Hang on a second. It's supposed to be this one. There it is. And performs a bitwise logical AND operation on the binary representation of two values. Each bit of the result is determined by evaluating corresponding bits of the input values. If both bits are 1, the resulting bit is set to 1. Otherwise, the resulting bit is set to 0. That's what we want. So, AND, because we want the temperature SAP. No, this is not going to work. Because if it's higher, it'll also screw that up. That's not going to work. Temperature. All right. So we're actually just going to go right back up here. We're going to change this up a little bit. Load, temp, switch. I'm sorry. Load into R0 from the temp switch setting. Branch greater than 0. I'm sorry. Branch equals 0. R0, jump to all stop. Because if that temp switch is off, we want everything turned off. So, all stop. We'll just put that down at the bottom. Set gas. Sorry. Move R14 0. Set gas pump on to R14. Set cold pump on R14. That's turning both of those off. J start. So if the dial is off, it's 0. And it'll jump to all stop. And then all stop will turn off the gas pump and turn off the cold pump. And then it'll jump back up to start. So if that temp switch isn't set, it'll never get past this one. So there's our temperature. There's our hot tank. So let me think here. So we've got our setting. We've got our temperature. So our setting is temp select. Hot tank is temperature is hot tank. We want there's a way to do this, and I've done it before. I just can't remember how I did it. How did I do it? So let's see. Let's look at our functions really quick. SAP, if it's within that 5%, could have swore there was a branch SAP command. B. BR. SAP greater than fluid otherwise. All right, we'll just have to do a switch. Greater than AL if R0 is greater than temp select. There's gotta be. I don't want it to be perfect, right? Because if it's perfect, then they're just gonna keep going back and forth. And if they keep going back and forth, then the pressure in the tank is just gonna rise and rise and rise. So I don't want that. What I want is for it to be within a certain percentage of each other. So SEP R1 if R0 minus the hot tank I'm sorry, temp select. If it's within 5%, branch greater than 0. So if it's within a few percent, AL. If it's within a few percent, then I want R1. If R1 is 1, as in it's within a few percent, we'll go to all stop. Right? And it'll shut off the gas pump, shut off the cold pump, and jump start. Okay? But if it's not, we go to temp adjust. Temp adjust. We're going to load that. Well, the temp select is already there. And we sapped into R1, so R0 is already the hot tank temperature. So, branch greater than if the temperature, branch greater than AL, return. If the temperature of the tank is greater than temp select, jump to temp up, temperature up. Branch less than AL if R0 is less than temp select, temp down. I wanted to play bolt gun when it came out, but I just haven't gotten around to being able to get it. Too many priorities. Temp down. J start. All right. Temp up. Move R14 0. Set cold pump on R14 move R14 to 1, set gas pump on R14. So we want temperature to go up. We make sure the cold pump is turned off, because that's adding cold gas, so that brings the temperature down. And we set the gas pump on, because that's what adds fuel in, and the combustion of the fuel is what brings the temperature up. Both will bring up the pressure. Now, J start, because after that we're going to go back up, and we're going to start pulling our temperature switches and our temperature and everything again. Make sure that our switch is actually still good. And go back through all the rigmarole. So now we're going to do temp down, where we do the opposite. Move R14 1, set cold pump on R14, move R14 0, set gas pump on R14, J start. Alright, so at the beginning, we're going to load our temperature switch setting. Branch equals 0, all stop. So if our temperature switch is set off, it goes to all stop. All stop, turns off the gas pump, turns off the cold pump, goes back to start. And it just loops that until we've got a button pressed, or a switch flipped to the on position. If it's in the on position, then R0 will be a 1. And it'll continue on. If it continues on, it's going to load from the temp dial what the setting is, what we want it to be. It's going to multiply that setting by 100, because we're working in thousands of degrees Kelvin, because that's the temperature that we want it to be. And we're going to load the temperature of the hot tank to R0. And then the SAP command tells us if that temperature is within 5% of our target temperature. Okay, if it's above, if it's more than 5% above, it'll be a 0. If it's more than 5% below, it'll be a 0. So branch equals 0. If R1, our SAP command, is a 0 because the temperature is more than this percentage, we jump to temp adjust. If it's within that 5%, it'll move to the all stop either way, because this is just a bookmark, a jumping point. So it'll move the register R14 to 0 and set the gas pump and the cold pump setting to 0, which is off. And then it'll jump to the start. And it'll just keep going through that until the temperature is either too hot or too cold. If this is a 1, or if this is a 0 because it's too high, it'll jump to the temp adjust, which is this bookmark here. And if it's greater than, if the temperature is greater than, we're going to swap that. If the temperature is too low, we want the temperature to come up. If the temperature is too high, we want the temperature to come down. And there we go. So temp up, sets the cold pump off, sets the gas pump on, temp down, sets the cold pump on, and the gas valve off, the gas pump off. All right. Now, before we do anything, we're going to just go ahead and add ourselves a safety. So load R0 from hot tank. This is a pressure safety. Pressure. Branch greater than. If the hot tank R0, pressure of the hot tank, is greater than, and I can't remember what the max pressure in that tank is, F1. Max pressure is 60,000 kilopascals. That's 60 megapascals, almost 61. So we're going to set that to 55 megapascals. If the pressure in that tank is greater than 55 megapascals, we jump to all stop. Because that'll turn everything off. We don't care what the temperature switch setting is. We care about what the pressure is in this instance. Let's change that. Emergency stop. You know what? Let's simplify that. Pressure stop. And we're going to get ourselves a light on there too. So, pressure stop. Right? Yes. And we're just going to copy this bit. Copy. Paste. Copy. Paste. Copy. And paste. And then set named, what is it? Function. Batch command. Set batch. There we go. We're going to go ahead and hit confirm on that. F1. Flashing light. We're going to copy U. Set batch device hash is hash paste on. And then before we can do that, move R14 to 1. R14. J start. Okay, and there's our safety. And let's go ahead and get our flashing lights. We need a couple of them. And our air tank is low, so we got to fill that really quick. We're gonna open you, plug you in there, turn you on, get you up to 7 key. There we go. There we go. We can breathe again. Okay, edit. I think we're good to go on that. We're going to export you, set you there. Go get that flashing light that I wanted to grab. I'm going to grab 2 of them. And some red. Red paint. I know I've got red in here, I think. No, I don't have red yet. Let's fix that. Iron. 9 grams of iron. Search red. We need you anyways. We're going to need our white paint as well. You. Search. Flashing light. We need a little bit of iron. There's 50 grams right there. Slap that in there. We're going to get 2 of them lights. And yeah, we're going to put that light there, because that's our furnace circuit. Yep. We want it to be red. Wire you up real quick. Go. Now we'll have to set those lights, turn those lights off manually for now. But we're also going to put you there. There we go on you. There. Now we've got 2 places that will alert us if our pressure is high, and it won't run. So, you're in the open position, so your state is 0. We need to set you don't quite need you that high. We only need you to like 50. We'll just do 50 times 100. It's only 5K. That is enough. That's a good enough temperature. That's okay. All right. So we're going to power you on. Got that error. D0, advanced furnace. D1. Find the temperature dial. Temperature dial. D2, temperature switch. Temperature switch. D3 is the gas pump. Gas pump. D4 is the cold pump. Cold pump. And then the hot tank is the hot tank. All right. Now, we're going to first, we're going to get ourselves some more volatiles in the mix. We're going to go find ourselves some more oxygen ice, so that we can fill that other tank a good amount. Tracker's there. So I'll walk our happy butts back and make sure that tracker is turned on so we can find our ways back. There you are. And then we're just going to borrow you. And that should be that. Let's find ourselves some oxygen ice. That's cobalt. Coal. Here we go. There wasn't a whole lot here, was there? Here we go. Here's some more. All right. That is 3 stacks. Is this nitrice or oxygen ice? It's nitrice. We don't need any of that right now. We will need that soon, but we don't need it right now. Let us find... more nitrice. Same color as oxygen ice on the ore scanner. Want a few more stacks of the oxygen ice. Gold will be useful later, but not right now. Easy to find when you don't want it, but hard to find when you do want it. More coal. There we go. Let's see what this is. There we go. Iron there. I don't want any iron at the moment. Go ahead and dump that all in there. head back after we've completed this vein, and I think we just did. Okay. Dig our way out. Turn you off for a second. You. There we go. There we go. Base is that way. Okay. Power you off, grab you, because we gotta fill you later. All right. Let you run. And in the meantime, we can color our pipes. Because I have seen dumb things happen when you don't color code your pipes.
Hydration critical.
Leave that orange. I like to use red for volatiles because red means bad. Volatiles are the only gas that we want isolated, like 100%. None of the other gases are combustible. This stuff is. So if it's got an oxidizer mixed into it, all right, we're using oxygen for that. We want to know this is oxygen. Here we go. All right. Throw that battery in there. Pressure's at 15. Pressure 0 in there. Mode is 1, so it's active. All right. You're doing okay. And what I'm going to do, I'm pretty sure I've got a second tank. And if I don't, I can print another one. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to add a buffer tank over top so that we can dump more in there. Frankly, we want this going as well. Hello, silicon. going in there anyways. Alright, so if we try to feed that ice crusher too fast, we can burst a pipe. So we don't want to feed it too fast, but at the same time, we also want it to be able to hold more than what it's actually currently holding. So we need utility, insulated utility. So we need steel and silicon. There's our steel. So I want 2 of them, because I want a large tank. We're fine on power right now. Don't need to expand that yet. Oh. The other direction. I am out of water. Go ahead and take care of that while we're in here. Go. Here we go. And then we will paint that. And just for shits and grins, we're going to go get a pipe meter so we can monitor the pressure in there, analog style. Don't know why I didn't think to do this earlier. Meter, and we're going to do 2 of them. There's 1. We still got plenty of copper for now. Two. Just so we can monitor that pressure, because I'm going to need the same thing for... Going to do the same thing for our volatiles, I think. There we go. Pressure is at 18 kilopascals. Okay. Just for consistency's sake, we're going to throw that in there. All right, now these gas pipes can only go up to 20. All right, so we've got 2K in there. 2.3 rising in here. 273, 273. Turn you on. And you're climbing. Now I'm going to add a little bit in there. Fire it. There we go. So our temperature goes up above our combustion, our flash point for our fuel mixture. And we won't need to come over and push that a bunch of times. So, that being said, we want you kept low. Same thing for you. There we go. There we have it. We have that's fallen. That's fallen or rising. So now we're going to go ahead and get ourselves some more volatiles. Close you. Swap the tracker for the ore scanner. Volatile shows up as red on this scanner. And then we should be set. Start working on getting our fuel squared away. Not our fuel, our coolant apparatus squared away for the waste gases, because we don't want to be trying to pump it into the base hot. That would kill us. Or it would kill our plants, which in turn would kill us. There's the base. There's iron. Realize that I never turned the base beacon back on. That's a priority. That's going to be a priority, putting in a permanent beacon. Pretty good. Sure, I've got the materials to do that, so I'm going to. Iron and silicon. Iron. That's copper underneath. Alright, that sun's going down. I'm going back to base for now. I'm going to get that beacon squared away, because swapping batteries, remember to turn things on, that's going to get a bit tedious. Coming up here quick. Beacon, print one of those, and then while we're here, we'll grab something to eat. You know what? While we're here, I'm just gonna go ahead and let our hair down for a minute. Alright, potatoes are harvested and replanted. So we've got food for another 10 days or so. Food's good to go. We're just going to put our stuff back on for now. Beacon kit. Plant you outside. there. Switch you on. And we're just going to pull you directly off of the base battery. There you are. You're supposed to be there. You're supposed to be there. Alright, beacon is lit. Now, as long as that beacon is actually within field of view, you should be able to see it from ways away. But it's only good for so long. Since we're on the moon and there's a lot of craters, and it's on top of the base and not up on top of the tower, it's not always we're very rarely going to be able to see it. So, back to the task at hand. Volatiles. There's some. Look at that. Hello. Is that it? Looks like that's it. Dig ourselves out. See if we can't. You know what? We don't need no more. Swap. Beacon is that way. Only about 60 meters. Yep, we're close to base. Okay. See, there's the beacon. You can see that light pretty far away. I think you can see it from anywhere on the map as long as it's within your field of view. Like, there's no obstructions or nothing.
Jetpack low.
Turn that on. Keep you going. And we're going to check on our tank. Pressure's at 17. She's just going to keep climbing. How are you? You're at 27, so we're going to add some more into you. Hold up. Let that pressure fall. I think that pressure's just a little bit too high. Being just a little bit too zealous with that, not paying attention. You're climbing. You are still climbing too. Pressure in you 0. Pressure starting to fall in you now. Still climbing in you. How are you at? You're at 25-ish. So we should actually be good to test. So let's do 1000 Kelvin. Power on.
Jetpack low.
And you're not turning on. Oh, temperature is at 24, so our cold pump turned on. But we don't have any cold gas in there. Pressure's going up, temperature's coming down. We're just going to let that continue on. Pressure in here should be climbing. You're falling. You're climbing. So the way the volume pump works is it works exactly off of that volume. So right now it's set to half a liter of volume. So half a liter of volume in there is a certain amount of PSI, or moles, because the actual amount is measured in moles. So as our pressure goes up in there, it's holding more material. So it'll put more material in here. And that'll increase the temperature drop, because the more moles will be able to absorb more BTUs of temperature, etc., etc. I'm actually going to go ahead and ditch this small battery in my tablet. Power you off for now, because we're not using you. Power you off for now, because we're not using you.
Hydration critical.
Pressure's only gone up to 100 to 100. So we're going to give that a boost. Power you on. And we're just going to go ahead and throw you in there. We wanted carbon dioxide out of that anyways. Drop you down to there. Now, what's in you? Doesn't matter. We're just going to open you. Open. Empty out. Close. We're going to put some nitrogen in you. We're going to add nitrogen around our furnace to insulate it. And then we should technically be fully done with our furnace setup. Aside from our... Oh, hey. Canister right there.
Waste tank caution.
Waste tank caution. Well, we can just go ahead and take care of that. There we go. I'm happy with you. I forgot the pipe utility. Oh, no I didn't. It's right here. There we go. Gonna need more. Because it's filling up the space in there. And we're thirsty anyways. That's the direction I'm going. We are going to need more nitrogen, which means we're going to have to harvest ourselves some nitri soon. That should be good right there. Almost done. And that's not even set proper. $101. Sorry, 102. 100. $94. It stopped. We're just going to double check. Give ourselves just a touch more. I like to use nitrogen as my coolant, because nitrogen has to be really cold for it to start condensing. A lot colder than everything else. Its pressure also has to be pretty high. So I like to use nitrogen as my coolant whenever I've got a cooling loop set up. It just works that way. It just works better that way, in my opinion. Now I could, theoretically, have another pipe coming down here, put a pipe meter there. I might actually add that to my setup in the future. That'd be nice to see. All right, turn you off. Let's see what we got in there. 2.6. We're right around where we want to be temperature-wise. Pressure is kind of low. So let's go ahead and set you on. Set you on. Start bringing temperature in and out. Have pressure and temperature come up. I'm okay with that. Let's see what our temperature is. 565. Let's throw some of that in there just for shits and giggles. Just to give us a little bit more pressure. We've already hit temperature, so we're going to see that gas pump come on. Once it's fallen below, so we're actually going to turn that dial up one to 1100. See where she stops. She's already stopped. I'm okay with that. What are you doing? You're at 34. You're at 15. You're at 29. We're good to go. Pressure is going down. All right. Pressure's going down because I'm still pulling quite a bit and not putting out quite a bit. There we go. 715 Kelvin, and it's going up. What we're doing is we're heating up our atmosphere on the inside too, so it'll stay stable. So what I'm going to do, we're going to set this up. Leave you there, turn you down. And then we're going to turn you up to 15, just so we can build pressure in there. Because we need pressure and temperature to do some of our smelting. Gonna let that temperature climb. Probably do some more oxygen. Oops, wrong button. We're looking pretty good here. Got our gas flowing, bringing our temperature up. We've got pressure being added in with the temperature as well as the volume of the gas. Our pressure should stay roughly between 10 and 20 megapascals once we've got some work done in there. So let's say we go ahead and get started on cooling setup for our waste tank gases. Hunger caution. We've got our silicon that we're going to need. Because we don't need any tanks, we're just going to need pipes, circulator, IC10 chip and housing. I say a circulator, but we're going to need another volume pump. Do I already have one? I do not. Okay. So we need a volume pump. Needs more gold. So while we're out hunting for some of the materials that we need. Alright. Medium radiator needs the Invar. Where is our Invar? We have Invar. There's our Invar. So I want several of them. Copper. Got plenty of steel. And we got plenty of Invar.
Air tank low.
Looks like we got a good number of gas pipes still, but I want more than that.
Air tank critical.
Fill that air tank. There we go. Dump you. All right. So we got 2 of these. I want 5. There's 3. Here's number 4. This is number 5, so we'll be good with that. And we're going to need some steel frames. Got steel in you already. All right. Dump you. There. You. There. IC10. You. You off. Wait, no. 5. pipe. Just use the rest of the steel in there for that. Housing. You. That should be all we need. So, there. There. Here it is, 15. We got 33 pipe. Shouldn't need any more of those. Go ahead and get the sheets that we need for them. Should be all we need. Constantine, you can go there. Waiting. Let's grab some food real quick. I saw that I'm at 13% on hunger. %30 on liquids. There. Alright, let's see now. We're going to set you there. We're going to put all of you away. You go. You go there. You go there. Set you over here. Go there. Housing. Chip. Rads. Volume pump. And then pipes. We've got plenty of cable. Let's get this set up. So come over here. Don't think I need more than that. I may have been a touch overestimating how many. Might need to go back. Yep. Battery's dead. On the welder. Need some more batteries soon. Okay. I'm going to need regular pipes, I think. So we are outside, so we need regular radiators. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope, not yet. So come over. Comment up over here. Do I want him to comment up over there? I think I want him to comment up over here. There we go. We'll comment up over here. And then we might need more pipe. Yep, need more pipe. Okay. What the hell happened? So my back pressure regulator set to 102. My pressure regulator set to 100. What the shit? What the absolute shit? Alright, well. Okay. I'll figure that out in a few minutes. Let's get ourselves some more pipes. I'm going to get... bring a pipe over here. Tell me what the pressure is. This guy, if it goes over 102, should pull it out. This guy, if it falls under 100, should pump it in. So what the shit happened? Anyways, we'll get those kinks worked out. Unless... did I have the back pressure regulator set up backwards? If I did, that's what I screwed up. I think I did. Alright. Now, while I'm standing here... gotta rip that cable out real quick. it backwards. Pretty sure. Oh, that's a pressure regulator. We want it as a back pressure regulator. Where? There you are. You. There. Okay. And then wire up. Over. Okay. So we need more pipe. For that, we need more silicon. Just let that do its job. Come on, temperature should come up. A little bit faster than that, but okay. There we go. One. You son of a bitch. All right. I'll get that wall fixed. Steel. Starting to use more power. We're going to need. Just let this print out a mess of these. Six. 7. 8. 9. Meter. There's that meter. Shouldn't need any more materials. All right. Close you. You ain't ready yet. Close though. Are we empty in here? We are empty in there. Okay. So we're going to put you there. Grab our wrench. you. Swap you for you. That'll tell us what the actual pressure in there is. You and you. Oh. Repair you. You get repaired. You're repaired. You're repaired. Gonna have to go get a new flat wall. Should have known something was fishy when it took all that nitrogen. Feed some more nitrogen in there. Power you on. Power you on. Fresh in there. Around 19. And climbing. Falling. Oh. Two. 100. Temperature's coming up in there. We're going to go ahead and just a touch more. That ought to do it. Bring temperature down, which will drop the pressure, which will
Hydration
pump
critical.
more in there. Need more water, need more nitrogen. Can be tedious sometimes. That just go a little bit faster. Alright, we'll get back to doing the radiators. Open, thank you. Oh, look at that. We didn't need any more. Well, we did, but we didn't. Okay. Back to the task at hand. Pull this pipe here. Now, grab you, input, okay. So we want to go in this way. Radiator there. And we need a large direct heat exchanger here. Yep. That's our spacing on that. How's our pressure in there handling? It's fine. It is perfectly fine. Okay. Large direct. Large direct heat exchanger. Perfect. One of them. Oops, wrong button. Large direct heat exchanger. Needs one pot and one metal sheet. Steel sheet. Where? There they are. There's the pipe. Heat exchanger. Ooh. We also need our valve. You. Grab some water while we're in here. I'm confused. Are we using more power than we ought to be?
Hunger caution.
Sure are. Hooray. Alright, so that settles our next project. We need to expand our power. We are producing less power. Pump you out. Turn you off. going. You. So we're going to put this project on hold. Oh, pipe and a wrench first. Here we go. Oh, hey, look at that. Solar storm. That ought to fill our power up real good. Still means we still need to get more power production, because them two small batteries should be fine to run everything. I'm going to want to switch to medium batteries soon. Or large batteries, at least. All right. Here we are there. There we go. So that's set up. And I think I have it wrong. We want to put the valve over here. Valve there. Yes. With that done, we can do a little bit rewire on this. There. Okay. So we'll fill this loop with nitrogen. And then this will just be the gases direct. And when we want to cool, we turn on this valve. This will always be running. But when we want to cool, we'll turn on the valve. And well, no, we'll turn the pump on at the same time. Might as well save power. Turn the valve on, turn the pump on, and then that pull heat from these gases in here, dump them into these radiators, which will dump them into space. How's your pressure? Pressure's fine. Turn you off, power you off, because you're actually what was using so much power. You're good to go. You're good to go. I think we're good to go. Okay, I believe I just need to finish these off. Yep. All right. Waste tank is full because it's hot out here. Okay. Solar panel, copper. Am I just shy on the copper? I'm not. I got plenty. I got the copper I need. Okay. Gonna have to go get more copper though. After this. So. Dump you. We want 5. Set the stack size to 100. How much in there? 86.
Power low. Hunger critical.
There's 100 copper. 5 times 5 is 25. And then the steel. 5 times 15. 75. And go. Furnace setup and cooling apparatus is almost complete. Almost complete. Take our 2 small batteries out of there. Stack them up there. We need to swap you. There we go. Just consolidating here. Know what I got, what I don't. Go. Copper. Silicon. Iron. top. Or incidental to go somewhere else. Or back 100. All right. Get our solar panel array expanded. Whoop. That one's on backwards. Need more copper for cable, I think.
Jetpack low.
Yep. So how much copper do I actually have? All right, my waste tank needs to be dumped. You off. Close you. Open. There we go. All right, so we are running dry on copper. What are we on? We don't have any spare cable laying around. That'll give me a stack. Regular cable. Just gonna let that print. Should have grabbed. Yep. Let us see here. A couple of things you got to prioritize. Power is one of them. We just gotta fill our cooling loop and then program I keep forgetting to grab the glass sheets. You're at 270. far. There we go. Go. You there, and you there. Last sheets, and then that'll be done. Gonna get ourselves just a little bit more propellant. What am I doing? Bounce over here.
Jetpack critical.
Okay. Last sheets are. Oh, okay. That's where I had more than that. And that'll give me 5. Okay. Okay. We're just gonna put these two away. There we go. That should fill our batteries up. No problem. All right. We can pull you and you. We're going to put you there. Pull you temporarily. Empty you. Get some more. That ought to do it. We don't need much more than what we're putting in there now. Now the whole point of the coolant is to transfer BTUs. So while we want enough BTUs in there, to do it. Yeah, that ought to do it. We'll see in a few seconds. Boom. And then we're going to pull you so we can use you other places as well. Go grab our tablet. That does our atmosphere analysis, not analyzation. That's not even a word. Come on now. You got 1.5. You got 2.2. You're good to go. You got 5 megapascals in you. You're good to go. We got 170 kPa in here. So we're going to pull half of that out. At least a good amount of it out. And we're going to test how quickly it cools it down. 5 rads should cool it down plenty. Which is in you. This is going to get changed for a turbo pump soon. I don't think my power will support it right now. I'd need another 5 solar panels. I don't have the resources to do the 5 solar panels. These 5 new solar panels should be able to support this guy running on full tilt. That's enough for our experiment, at least. Power you on. It's transferring kilojoules. It's radiating 8 kilojoules. As we can see, the temperature is dropping fairly quickly in there. Now, the more that's in there, the slower it'll drop, because the more BTUs it's actually holding. I'm a little confused. So it is radiating. That's what we care about. It is bringing that temperature down. So I think this is set up the way we need it to be set up for now. We'll expand it later as our needs increase. There's more silicon. And I think that is a good. Well, okay. Presence of liquid. Destroyed due to an overpressure event, huh? You know what? That's okay. We're not going to be using you no more. So we will decommission you later, but for tonight, we are actually in a decent stopping point. You can go over here. We got 48 copper left. Set for 100. Set you back down to 50. Split you out. You're good. Knock you out. 25. Trying to stay organized because Haley yelled at me last time because I wasn't staying organized. Put you away. Here's our working materials. Okay. I think we're good to go. That all being said, I will see you all tomorrow night where we're all back together playing some more Darktide because they just dropped their new class. I believe that's what we're doing tomorrow night. Could be wrong. But we'll find out tomorrow night. Pretty sure it's Darktide. Y'all have a wonderful night.